Good morning. How is everyone? Missed you the last 3 days. You'll see that in the title there's something about sleep. I had a terrible night's sleep last night. How are we all? God, I've missed you all. Creatorholic, Margaret O'Brien, Emma Does Life, Bev Hartnell, Sally O'Sullivan, Good Ship Lollipop, Faith Goodman, Bev Hartnell, Ellery Jones, Jordan Stevenson, Fiona Reid. Hello, hello, hello. How are we all? Ironing, Vicky Edwards, ironing in front of the telly with you guys, keeping me going for loads of washing on the line, so make it a long one. I could be here all day. Yeah, well, Nads has filled in rather sensationally, hasn't she, for the last 3 days? Just manning the ship, steering the ship forward. I hope you've all had fun. Hi, Ellen. Very good, Ellery. Thanks, Bellex. Hi, Hayley Marie. Yeah, it's hashtag fuck. I've got to do this in order to do this. It's hashtag fuck off Friday, guys, isn't it? Hashtag fuck off Friday. And what does that mean? What does it mean when it's hashtag fuck off Friday? What does it mean? What does it mean? Fuck off Friday, of course it is. That's what it is. Fuck off Friday. We're back, and we mean business. How, Fiona? I've got to take down the chat screen whenever I play that. So sorry about that. Katie Travers, Hazel Malbon, can't join. I'm having my hair done in a minute. I hope it looks nice. Hope you're pleased with it. Thanks, Christos, once again. Hi, Natasha. Hi, Laura Williams. Shall we have it once more? Do you want to just hear it one more time? Let's hope it doesn't send YouTube into a meltdown. Hey, Christos, let's have a listen. It's taking a moment to load. Oh. I don't know. The cheesemeisterness of it. On the cheeseometer. The cheeseometer is like it's so good. How are you, Russ? I'm good, thank you. So yes, there we go. It's fuck off Friday. Hashtag fuck off Friday. It's fucking Friday, and it's the fucking weekend. It's Friday. Thanks for all of your comments on. You've missed our polls. Should Mark grow a beard? There you go. That's what was on my Instagram yesterday, courtesy of Ninad. Should Mark grow a beard? I'm almost there now. Ask the community. Mark, which type of popcorn do you prefer? American butter popcorn or UK salty or sweet? Love American. I think American butter is my favorite. Though when I was a kid, I used to love Butterkist, rah rah rah. Remember that, the bags that would just stick to everything, wouldn't it? You put them on the end of your nose and they just stay there. It was just fantastic. Had a great time. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Jane Taylor. It's nice to be back. Oh, look, here we go. Here's poll number 1. He likes a poll. Should Mark grow a beard? Yes, no. There we go. Last ever day of filming for Neighbours was today in Melbourne, Felicity Cook. Oh, my God, there goes an era. Am I right in thinking that, did Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan come back for a sort of revisit for one of the final shoot days of that? God, there. Oh, sorry, I just ended the poll. You probably just got going on that poll. You're just going up that poll, and I've just ended it. No, 73%. Yes, 26%. Well, there we go. I'm going to ask you another question because it's about something for later. Do you sleep in? It'll become clear in a minute. This is for people who are in partnerships, because there's a new story today about sleeping in beds and whether we should sleep together or not, and all that kind of stuff, in a purely platonic fashion. So it's hashtag fuck off Friday. Gonna miss Neighbours? Are you a Neighbours fan or a Home and Away fan? We used to run around university and head on. I mean, back in the day, you know, you didn't have streaming. You'd try and find a television with signal, because it used to be the days of aerials where you'd have to move them around all the time. You try and find a television with signal. I mean, I remember watching an awful lot of Neighbours through a sort of snowy haze of kind of, you know, interference and bad reception. You were a fan back in the 70s, Russ. Yeah, Australian soaps, Home and Away. There was Home and Away, there was Neighbours, and then there was another one, wasn't there? Wasn't there another one which was kind of the least successful? It was Home and Away and Neighbours, but I'm sure, was it not Sons and Daughters? Was it Sons and Daughters? Was that Australian? Sons and daughters, love and laughter, fear and loathing and happiness. Is it something like that? Sullivan's, no, I have no partner, Sue Wood. Okay, you sleep separately then. Prisoner Cell Block H, good God. That's going back a bit. Sons and daughters and love and laughter and we can Was that Australian? Was Sons and Daughters Australian? Jenny Scam, yeah. Loved Sons and Daughters, says Fiona Crockett. How have we ended up here? Who was it who said Neighbours last? Oh, yes. Morning, Zoe. Hope you're well. I'm really going to miss Neighbours. Davis Moore. Did the music change over time? Did they jazz it up? Did they give it a bit of a... That was me playing with my teeth. Last day of shooting, apparently, Laura Lou, on Neighbours. The head of Channel 5 has said that he feels single-handedly responsible for holding a gun to the head of Neighbours, because, of course, him decommissioning it is why it's ended. Sons and Daughters, Love and Laughter, Tears of Sadness and Happiness. Fiona Crockett, thank you. Sons and Daughters, Love and Laughter, Tears of Sadness and Happiness. War was easier than Daughters, that's all I'm going to say. I used to watch Sullivan's when I went home for lunch from school. The Sullivans. Sullivans, how did the music go to the... Was the Sullivans an Aussie show as well? The Sullivans, yeah, that does ring a bell. Heartbreak High. Mrs. Mangle was still in it, Dawn Clarkett. Do you remember that? Mrs. Mangle. I want to go to Sydney now. I want to go to Australia. Country Practice. A Country Practice. God, there's been more than we care to think of, hasn't there? El Dorado. That wasn't Australian, was it? But that was a... Who remembers London Burning? Was it London Burning? Was that a sort of soap type thing? Lee Lou, I have no partner. Always slept in the same bed when I have had, though. Skippy, yeah, I used to remember Doctors on around lunchtime. Flying Doctors. My granddad used to have that on the telly. Julie Neary, yes, you remember that? El Dorado was weird. Loved a London's Burning, says Sarah Fox. Well, there we go. So let's have a look here. Do you sleep in separate beds to your partner? 29% say yes, 71% say no. Well, the news here is a doctor has warned couples against sharing a bed, saying you should always sleep alone for many reasons, not just the snoring. Apparently this doctor, what's the doctor's name? Dr. Karan Rajan, it's a man. He said that the damaging effect sharing a bed can have on a person is quite dramatic. Not everyone shares the same sort of sleep cycle, you see. Sleeping in separate beds is apparently a good idea because of the triggers that help people drift off, including body temperature. Do you ever get that? Well, me and Nadia get that a lot, where she's really cold and I'm really hot. It's about as contrasting as it gets. And then so I thrust my legs outside the duvet and they land outside and she's like, oh, but you've made a little hole. Do you get that funny thing when you're, oh, there's some cold coming in. And it's like, one has to almost get up and walk around the edge of the bed and go, oh yeah, there's just a little bump there, but that's where my foot comes out. So then you end up getting your legs out of the duvets and wrapping the duvet tight around your thighs so that there's airlock. But then that has the negative consequences of where you've wrapped the duvet tightly around your thighs, say. So I sometimes will have, like a nappy, I'll have the duvet wrapped around my thighs, Nadia will be ensconced under her duvet. My legs will be out to the world, nice and cool, because I'm hot, so they're getting cold. And then, of course, The loin area gets so hot because I'm wrapped up in a fucking nappy. And then there's the sort of changing the pillows, the flipping the pillows. What's the light to the right of you? The light to the right of you. What light? What light? What light to the right of me? To the right. What light? My hubby sleeps like a glower. And then Nadia does that. It's lovely, you know. Nadia will come over, she'll sort of cuddle onto here and she'll go to sleep. But within 30 seconds, oh, that one there. Oh, it's a neon light. It says, fuck off. She'll lie there. Within 30 seconds, this is happening. And then so I have to kind of move her head, put it to the side, and it's quite a sort of, you know, with all the hair, it's quite a head. And so you place it down, you gently whisper, you say, could you just face the other way? Could you just face the other way? Face the other way. All right. She doesn't remember that you've done it. It's funny, isn't it, how some people, they only choose to hear the bits they want to hear, don't they? Because it doesn't suit the narrative. So what am I talking about? In a TikTok vid shared by Dr. Karan, curious way to kind of share your research, seen by 4.8 million followers, the lecturer at University of Sunderland, who's also a surgeon, says one of the triggers you need to be able to fall asleep is the drop in core body temperature. Sharing a bed increases body heat, so it will take longer for you to fall asleep. So yeah, it's not just body heat though, is it? It's light, how much light there is in a room. Nadia will have her things on. Can anyone else do those, what are they called, sleep thingies? What are they? I can't do them. I feel so claustrophobic. I end up sort of like, I feel terrible. Would love a spare bed to sketch, but we only have one bed. That's the problem, you see. You have to end up sleeping on a sofa if you don't have enough rooms. You know, we're lucky we have a spare room, so I can go in there. The bed creaks like a nutter. Teresa Walsh, I've been single for years, don't know how I'd cope sharing a bed. Earplugs are a must, but whenever I use earplugs, eye mask makes me feel claustrophobic. Earplugs makes me get a blocked ear. It's a bloody nightmare. I can't either, Mark Zoe. I think it's an anxiety thing. And then there's Nads can fall asleep to, you know, LBC. And I like falling asleep to it, but then I wake up to it at about 3 a.m. And I'm fumbling around the room, trying to find the pause, just to turn it off. Now, I said to Nads the other day, why don't we revisit Curtain Gate and put up blinds? Blind Gate. How about that? Trying to get a what are they called? Blackout blinds. Jackie, West Sussex. I've started using a sleep app as I know I snore and that records snores and also me talking in my sleep, which is odd. I go in spare rooms so we both get sleep. We did do a How to Stay Married about this. I think it's about just moving into different rooms. It's like go to bed, have a bit of a cuddle and all that sort of stuff, and then head off into another room. I think that's got to be the way. And given Nadia's always sparkoed first, it'll always be me heading off into another room. You need to switch your radio off before you sleep. Yeah, but as you're falling asleep, it's really nice. You're like, oh, dulcet tones. Oh, and then you're awake again. So anyway, guys, if you are sleeping with someone, don't. Sleep in another room. Maybe we should try filming us at night. Food consumption plays a role, says Christos. Apparently spicy food, dairy products, or even alcohol in how we sleep. Yeah, alcohol is a huge unsettler. You don't sleep deeply, do you? When you drink too much. Obviously, the big sort of serious news story is the fury as 2 Brits have been captured in the Ukraine. They've been sentenced to death by what has been called a sham Russian court, and in eastern Ukraine, in the Donetsk People's Republic. What do you think of this, guys? What do you think of this story? I mean, obviously, we don't want them to be executed at all. It's terrible. This is the byproduct, though, is it not, of Liz Truss saying, yeah, go out there and fight. Is that right or not? I mean, this is why she shouldn't have said what she said, isn't it? It is horrendous. It's horrendous for them. It's horrendous for their family. I personally don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to be used as a sort of bargaining chips or bargaining tools to release Russian. They had Ukrainian partners, Mel W. That puts a very different spin on it then. So they're not just people who kind of, not that in any way justifies it, but I see. So they had real kind of skin in the game. Yeah, so I personally don't think it's going to happen. I think the Russians or the Russian separatists are going to, I think they're going to sort of try and flag this up a lot. It's going to be used to, I think they're going to try and, get some of Putin's sort of people released. So yeah, that's the big story today. Horrible, but wish Sky News showed them on film. Do you mean you wish that you didn't show them on film, or showed them on film? So I don't understand, Faith. These two were already members of the Ukrainian army, and they both already lived there. Just utterly awful. It is just utterly awful. So that's in the news a lot. Let's see if Truss can sort that one out, shall we? At the same time, over in the States, Donald Trump has been told off for inciting the Capitol Hill riots. Donald Trump was at the center of the conspiracy. A congressional committee that's been investigating the 6th of January 2021 attack held its first public hearing and announced its findings. It said there was a case against Donald Trump. Donald Trump's come out saying this is a news hoax, a load of nonsense, but they do feel that who feels Donald Trump was responsible for the Capitol Hill? Let's do that. That's quite a good one, isn't it? Let's do that. Was Trump responsible for Capitol Hill riots? I certainly don't think he helped. Sorry, what were you saying? Faith, not showed them on film at the beginning of war. Oh, right, okay, yeah, I think I understand what you mean. Was Trump responsible for Capitol Hill riots? 92% say yes, 8% say no. I don't know if you can necessarily say that he was entirely personally responsible, but I mean, that whole fabric of incitement and sort of excitability, you could argue that his entire campaign was about mobilizing a sort of militia-like attitude to things, wasn't it? But the other takeaways from it are that they've refuted the idea that that essentially widespread election fraud went on. That's been kind of knocked out. I mean, to be fair, this committee that's kind of done this, that found these findings, are a democratically sort of majority. There's a majority of Democrats on it, so it was never really going to come out well for Trump, was it, and Republicans. Ivanka and Jared spoke. The panel conducted more than 1,000 interviews. They spoke with daughter Ivanka Trump, and Mr. Trump spoke about how she had no reason to doubt the then Attorney General Bill Barr when he said her father had lost the election. So this idea of election rigging, Trump's daughter has kind of pushed back upon that herself. Who thinks Ivanka is going to go for, or Jared? Who thinks that the Trump kids or the next generation of Trumps are going to come up on the inside and take things over? Do you think the Trump legacy is going to continue, but in a different form? Or do you think Trump's going to come back in 2024? Was it 2024? Yeah, 2024. Do you think he'll be back like the Terminator? I was watching footage. They had footage of. Do you remember when he did that drive around when he had COVID? I mean, I have to say, I mean, you don't want him in power, but my God, it was eventful, wasn't it? Do you remember he just decided to jump in a car? He took some mystery drugs, recovered rapidly, jumped in a car with a mask and waved at people. It's a big car. It's a big car. Big car. Had to get in a car. He took all sorts of strange drugs, and he took a weird drug cocktail that no one else had heard of, and it seemed to work. Suddenly he was bouncing around like a lunatic. So now, breakfast. I want to talk about breakfast. When do you eat your breakfast? What's your preferred time for eating breakfast? Tell me that now. Tell me that now. Sanitizer by any chance? David Shields, if these hearings do not manage to ban him from running again, then he 100% will run again. Yeah, I don't think these are going to be legally binding. I think it's an investigation, but I don't necessarily think they're going to be able to enact anything, against him. Okay, so what are the times? 10 o'clock, 4 a.m. Melly Mel. Wow, making it now. Avo on Yote, toast, I think, love connection. Once a day, late at night, you eat good chip lollipop. 7:30 to 8 a.m. Gloria Chesham, 9:30 till 10. Tina Colville, I try to fast. I only eat breakfast at weekends, Deborah Lansbury. That's a curious one, isn't it? Well, I find it almost impossible to eat in the morning. I find myself getting sick. I feel sick if I eat too much in the morning. But Tim Spector, do you remember him? He was popping up a lot during COVID, wasn't he? Professor of genetic epidemiology at the King's College London. They said we need to rethink when we eat, especially given the fact that most people eat dinner so much later. It's not good for you to eat dinner later in the evening. Late night food, obviously the body has less time to burn it, digest it. It leads to unsettled sleep, as Christos was just saying a minute ago, and all that kind of stuff. But Phil Spector is his name Phil? No, Tim Spector. Phil Spector's a musician, isn't he? Tim Spector says there are still people, particularly in the north of England, who eat earlier, but generally we've moved towards continental eating habits in the evenings. His suggestion is that you should eat a little bit later in the morning. Waiting a few hours before eating anything after waking up is better for staying healthy and shedding excess pounds. So there you go, guys. You heard it from Tim Spector, who I found a bit of a miserable old git, actually, during lockdown. But yeah, pushing it back, I don't know why. I always find pushing it back works better, but don't let pushing it back mean that you eat later. I think that's the top tip, guys. Just because you eat breakfast later doesn't mean you should have dinner later. Though that's a bit hard when you're doing the 16A. I tend to not eat before midday, and then I tend to stop at 8. Except if I have a sneaky ice lolly. So many mixed messages, Sharon JL. It's like one day it's left, next day it's right. Next day it's straight down the middle, and the day after that it's in reverse. But guys, you mustn't forget one thing, must you? You mustn't forget one thing. And what is that thing that you mustn't forget? You mustn't forget that. That's what you mustn't forget. Just mustn't forget it. It's coming. We're coming. Get your pens ready. It's coming. So the time of day to eat breakfast, you'll lose more weight. Your body will, you'll burn more calories in the morning, and if you eat a little bit later, you'll shed more pounds throughout the day. Who likes a shipwreck? I like a shipwreck. Does anyone else like a shipwreck? You know, like the Mary Rose. Do you remember that? All the excitement, and then you get down there and it's like a huge barnacle, and it's like, oh wow, that's a cannonball, and it could be anything. Well, the discovery of a huge shipwrecked shipwrecked warship has been found off the coast of Norfolk, Great Yarmouth, and it was a ship that sank whilst carrying the future king. The Gloucester, which is the name of the boat, ran aground off the coast of Great Yarmouth in 1682, nearly killing the Duke of York, the grand old Duke of York. He had 10,000 men. He took them out in a boat to the sea and he drowned them all again. He later became King James II of England. But they've just found, they discovered it initially in 2007, but they've only just made it public knowledge. But they found the wreckage of this 340-year-old Gloucester warship on the seabed. And there be those cannons. There be those loose cannon. God, that really hurts. There be those loose cannon. Oh, really hurts myself. Excuse me, moi. Anyway, I love that kind of thing. They said of the discovery, it was awe-inspiring and beautiful. It instantly felt like a privilege to be there. It was so exciting. We read that the Duke of York had been on board, but that was it. We were confident it was the Gloucester, but there are other wreck sites out there with cannons, so it still needed to be confirmed, and they've now confirmed it. So exciting. They even found some glasses in an old box in an old wooden container. I love all that shit, don't you? I love it. I thought you said shipwreck, shipbreak. Yeah, shipwreck, shipwreck, shipwreck. There's something excitingly and beautifully eerie about shipwreck, says Christos. It feels like time literally stopped at that moment and it now preserved underwater. I know. When was it sunk? It was sunk back in 340 years ago. So it was sunk back in, when was it? 1682. It's a long time ago. I doubt there's any wood. And that's what makes a shipwreck. A shipwreck. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? That's what makes a shipwreck. Shipwreck, hearties. Captain Jack Sparrow. Oh, God, that was good. The stewardess. And this story I thought was really funny before we do the quiz. EasyJet cancellations. Obviously, everyone's getting their flights cancelled. It's a fucking clusterfuck out there for holidays. It really is. Stag party spends hundreds on bikes to get home after EasyJet flight cancelled. This is great. At the time, it didn't feel like fun, but I had 2 of the best days of my life with 13 best friends, and this topped it off, says the groom-to-be. A group of friends on a stag were stranded in Amsterdam after their home flight was cancelled, so they undertook a 230-mile cycle trip back to the UK using bikes that they were forced to buy from locals. They spent £1,300, it's probably less than their combined flight rebookings, and they essentially cycled back. What a brilliant stag do. I feel that there's a sort of British comedy movie in there somewhere, isn't there? There's got to be. It's like The Hangover, but sort of gentler. Well, you could make it worse, but I don't think you can have as severe as Mike Tyson's tiger in your hotel room. They were booked onto EasyJet flights to return 2 days after landing on the 2nd of June. After standing in line for security for hours, they were dismayed to find out their flight had been cancelled. Fruitless attempts at renting a car and getting Eurostar ensued before it was suggested they get a ferry to Dover, that a ferry to Dover would be viable. They then boarded a train to Calais, which went via Brussels and Lille, but while travelling, they discovered the safety rules prevented foot passengers from using the only service they could make that day. One member suggested trying to buy 14 bikes during stopovers in the European cities. Some managed to buy bikes in Brussels, while the rest picked up bargains in Lille. We had booked a Calais to Dover crossing, but you needed bikes to get on. No foot passengers were allowed. 30 members of the group managed to find bikes, including by bartering with locals in second-hand shops. Crazy, crazy. Oh, I think that's quite cool. I bet they all really bonded. I bet they all had the bike over rather than the hangover. I like it. GG. Squirrel. So, guys, let's do it. What time is it? It's the time. I'm going to knock that off so I can do this. It's Quiz of the Week time, guys, which means only one thing. It's Quiz of the Week, and when it's Quiz of the Week, we've got to get cracking. So here we go.
Fuck Off Friday.
It's Fuck Off Friday, which means it's one thing. It's the Fuck Off Friday club. Frizz? It's the Frizz. It's the Friday Frizz quiz. Pens and pencils ready. First question is going to be about Kate Bush. Let's all hope that we don't get any questions about cricket. So here we go. Question 1. We're off. Singer Kate Bush returned to singles charts around the globe with one of her songs undergoing a resurgence thanks to its use in Netflix series Stranger Things. But which track was it? Babushka, A. Running Up That Hill, B. Or Wuthering Heights, C. Which of those 3 tracks has gone to number 1? I think you know this. I think we've talked about this. I think we talked about it last weekend in the No Name Saturday show or Sunday show. B. Running Up That Hill. I'm running up that road. I'm running up that hill. I'm running up that road. B. You're all saying B. I'm not even going to give you the time of day on that one. That B is what you say. Oh, there's the running up that hill is correct. B it is. Broadcaster, question 2. Broadcaster Claire Balding, actor Damian Lewis and designer Stella McCartney were among the celebrities named in the Queen's Birthday Honours List, becoming CBEs. But who joined the select Companions of Honour? So who of these was also, sort of turned into almost a knight of the round table? Was it A, illustrator Sir Quentin Blake, B, nuclear scientist Dame Susan Iron, as in iron, irons, or C, Bristol School of Dancing founder Angela Redgrave? A, Quentin Blake, B, Dame Susan Iron, or C, Angela Redgrave? Which of those also became a CBE? I haven't got a clue. I reckon it's... Oh, I was right. Running up that hill. Mark didn't see me running up that hill. That's you. We're running up that road. Julie Frank says nuclear scientist. Jordan Stevenson says A. A lot of you are saying Bristol School of Dancing founder Angela Redgrave. Also, a lot of you, Marcia Tom, Sarah Fox and B. Stibert, are saying Sir Quentin Blake. And it is Sir Quentin Blake, I am afraid. Question 3. Fast food chain KFC started adding an unconventional ingredient to burgers and wraps served to Australian customers. But what was it? Was it A, beetroot, B, cabbage, or C, Vegemite? Wow, well, let's do some detective work on this. Vegemite is not an unconventional ingredient, is it, in Australia? Beetroot perhaps would cause all sorts of staining on people's clothes, which wouldn't be a good thing. But I think it's a toss-up between beetroot and cabbage, myself. What do you say? Mel W., you're saying cabbage. Fiona Reed, B, you're saying cabbage too. Carol Aviard, you're saying B. Running Up That Hill is saying Vegemite. Louise Pudney and Margaret O'Brien are saying Vegemite. Okay, let's have a click. It is cabbage. Ooh. Cabbage. Oh, just when you thought you were going to avoid the cricket question, what comes up? Oh, the golf question. Oh, no. The Live Golf Invitation. One sec. Sorry about that. Timmy boy. Timmy boy. The Live Golf Invitational Series got underway on Thursday, backed by $2 billion of Saudi money. Who was not among the 48-strong field competing? Who wasn't in this competition to do with golf? I've got no idea who they are. A, Dustin Johnson, B, Rory McIlroy, or C, Phil Mickelson? It means nothing to me. It's like looking at a menu in a completely foreign language. Bev Berry, I'm going to guess. Oh, I guessed it right. Just have a guess, A, B, or C. Mel W, B. Fiona Grockett, B. Ava Greenall, C. Running Up That Hill, B. Oh, right, okay. Quite a few of you going for, seriously, B. Faith Goodman, Louise Pudney, B. Oh, okay, so, oh, right, you're golf fans. It's just cricket you don't like. B is right, Rory McIlroy. Well done. I got it right too, I just guessed. Question 5. Something unusual happened when former Oasis frontman Liam Gallagher played a concert at the open-air rock venue at Nebworth House. But what was it? A, a tortoise that had been missing for months turned up. B, Gallagher invited someone from the crowd to play drums for him. Or C, police dealt with concert-goers using a motorway as a drop-off point. Using a motorway as a drop-off point. A, a tortoise that had been missing for months turned up. B, Gallagher invited someone from the crowd to play drums. Or C, police dealt with concert-goers using a motorway as a drop-off point. That's one of the weirdest questions ever. I was hoping it was a tortoise, Faith. I'm hoping it's a tortoise. Something unusual happened when Friday... but what was it? Bev Berry, C. Gloria Chesham, A. Tortoise. We're all willing it to be a tortoise, or even inviting someone up to play drums. No, it was used the motorway as a drop-off point. Question 6. Question 6. Thailand removed cannabis from its banned narcotics list. But which of the following is still illegal? A, growing cannabis at home. B, serving up cannabis in restaurants. Or C, smoking marijuana recreationally. That's weird. So it's banned from its narcotics list, but which of these is still illegal? A, growing cannabis at home. B, serving up cannabis in restaurants. Or C, smoking marijuana recreationally. Marcia Toms, it would be great if the tortoise had played the drums. Which of those is it? A, B, or C? Restaurants, someone saying B. Margaret O'Brien saying C. Fiona Grockett, growing cannabis at home. I was going to say that, but I didn't. I said serving up cannabis in restaurants. You're all saying C. Whoever said C is right. Smoking marijuana recreationally. So there you go. It's weird, isn't it? Who's got 6 out of 7? Come on, who's got 6 out of 7? It's Fuck Off Friday, guys. Who's got 6 out of 7? Anyone got 6 out of 7? I think there's a bit of a delay on my phone. Okay, last question. Helen Fatherley, it's used for pain, exactly. Last question. A British museum identified an item from its stores as the last surviving example of a ration pack issued to British troops for the D-Day landings. But which of the following was not inside? A, chewing gum. B, corned beef, or C, salt? Think about this. British Museum identified an item from its stores as the last surviving example of a ration pack issued to British troops for the D-Day landings. But which of the following wasn't inside? A, chewing gum, B, corned beef, or C, salt? I think there's definitely a delay up there. Let me pull you up on the screen here. Oh, let me just do that. Let's have a look. Corabelle, A. Lots of you saying A, chewing gum. A lot of you saying chewing gum. Some of you saying B. Could it be a trick question? Shelley says A, Fiona Grockett says A, Katie Travers says A, running up that hill. Oh, lots of you are saying A. Chewing gum, because chewing gum seems such a sort of modern concept, doesn't it? Well, you're wrong. It's B, corned beef, or bully beef, as they used to call it in World War II. Yeah, bully beef wasn't in the packs, but chewing gum was, and salt was. So there you go, guys. Who got 7 out of 7? Did anyone get 7 out of 7? Did anyone get it? And that's your cue to say, fuck off Friday. Fuck off Friday. We need to do a voice like that that's forever on telly. Hooray, telly voice. So there you go. Did anyone get 7 out of 7? No, 5, Shelley. 6, Christos, well done. That was very good. Bev Berry, 6. Laura Williams, 6. Oh, well done. Ava Green, all 6. So much fun. Oh, I'm pleased you enjoyed it, Faith. Well, look, guys, have a lovely day. And something will be landing later at some point. We're well overdue a vlog, aren't we, of some sort? So that will be landing soon. Take care, stay safe, and it's a pre-recorded No Name Sunday show this weekend, so that will be edited and uploaded on Sunday. So anyway, I hope you have a lovely day, and don't forget, #FuckOffFriday.